Hello dear friends, welcome. Let's sit back and enjoy another one of Cookie's entertaining and thought-provoking fables. Today's tale is The Parrot's Tale, The Dangers of Extremism. The forest was bustling with the usual activity, yet an air of tension hung in the air. The wolf and raccoon were deep in conversation, debating the merits of sticking strictly to one's beliefs. As they spoke, a flamboyant figure entered the clearing. It was a beaver, her fur shining brightly, her demeanor as grand as her appearance. The raccoon squinted, watching her. She's always so dramatic. Do you think she'll ever settle down and work with the others? The wolf grunted. She's too set in her ways. Always wants things her way and no other way. If you ask me, she's an extremist. At that moment, the parrot swooped down, landing on a nearby branch. He looked from the wolf to the raccoon, then to the beaver. Ah, I see there's something in the air. Something about extremes, perhaps? The wolf nodded. She's always so rigid in her beliefs, too. I think she's pushing everyone away with her insistence that things be done her way. The parrot chuckled. You're right about that. Let me tell you a story, my friends, one that might help you understand the dangers of extremism.
The Parrot's Tale, the beaver who could not compromise. Once, there was a beaver named Glimmer. Glimmer was a skilled builder, and she took great pride in her work. But Glimmer had one flaw: she believed that only her way of doing things was correct. She would insist on using the finest materials for every dam, rejecting anything that wasn't perfect, and often arguing with the other creatures when they tried to suggest alternatives. The parrot's voice grew more serious. At first, Glimmer's way of doing things seemed to work. Her dams were impressive, strong, and sturdy. But as time passed, the other animals began to grow frustrated. They had their own ways of living and contributing to the forest. The raccoons preferred their ingenious underground homes, while the birds had their nests in the trees. Yet Glimmer insisted that everyone should live the way she did, building with the finest materials and following her exact blueprint. The parrot paused for a moment, allowing the weight of the words to settle in. As Glimmer became more and more rigid in her thinking, she started to alienate others. No one wanted to work with her anymore, and when winter came, the forest found itself in a bind. The trees, laden with heavy snow, began to bend and break under the pressure, and Glimmer's dams, too perfect for the conditions, started to crack. The turning point: the forest was in chaos, continued the parrot. The animals scrambled to help, but Glimmer, too proud to admit any fault, refused to listen to anyone. She wouldn't work with others, she demanded that her way be the only way. But the damage was done. The dam that had once stood so tall and proud was now nothing more than a broken, leaking shell. And the animals who had once admired Glimmer were now too wary to trust her. The parrot's voice softened, the lesson clear. In the end, it wasn't her skill that mattered, it was her inability to compromise, to listen to others, and to accept that there was more than one way to do things. In her extremism, she had lost everything. The lesson for the forest. The wolf shook his head, clearly moved by the story. So, she lost everything because she couldn't bend her rules even a little. The raccoon nodded thoughtfully. It's not about giving up everything you believe in, it's about finding balance. Extremism isolates us. The parrot smiled gently. Exactly, extreme positions can blind us to the truth and prevent us from finding common ground. The forest thrives because its creatures respect diversity, and when we let go of rigid thinking, we open ourselves to solutions and cooperation. Moral: extremism isolates and blinds us to other possibilities. Only through compromise and open-mindedness can we create harmony.
Epitaph of the beaver who could not compromise. Here lies Glimmer, the beaver so proud, who built her dams high and strong in the crowd. But her rigid beliefs brought her no peace, and in the end, they laid to her release. Let this be a lesson to all who may see that the strongest of trees must bend to the breeze. That concludes today's fable, The Beaver Who Could Not Compromise. We hope you enjoyed our little story. Remember to like, share and subscribe for future fables told by our friend Cookie. Don't forget the notification bell. Be sure to comment with any topics you would like us to cover in future tales.